Save. Okay, this should be good now. We got to get rid of this old other one here. All right. Ba-ba-da-da-ba-da-da. How quickly can we navigate the channel and get all this done? Let's see. Ba, 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 ba. Plus that other one had stuff at the beginning I didn't realize I had up. So I'm going to delete it real quick. A little bit of a nooblet here. Manage videos. Channel content. Live. Alright. That was 2 minutes long. Go ahead and delete it. Delete forever. I understand that deleting is permanent and can't be undone. Yes, delete forever. The old one that showed all my entries and exits shorted the ish out of the rally back to settlement. And so that's gone. Okay. No longer have all that garbage. All right, let's go back to the live stream. What is going on at Venus? What's going on, Chirptown? Okay, much better. Now we have a lot less delay here on the feed, so it's got very low latency on the feed. I don't know. It may affect quality. Look at this. You guys see the iceberg seller here? Let's see. Are we on the right feed? E-mini? Yeah. Okay. Right in this area here. Let's see. It was right here, right? When price came down, when it came back up, 125 lots. Never didn't come back up on this candle, push down. Came back up, 97 lots here. Eventually pushed through settlement, came back up, 72 lots, then 4, then 7. And what was interesting is this iceberg seller came back in lower right here. And then they iced it up here, right? You see that? It's like 400 or 500 lots. So altogether, man, fair amount. It's like on the session, we have 837 positive deltas there, right? So not all one seller, obviously, passive seller, I should say, icing it up, but a fairly large seller here. And then we finally, on this, oh, sorry, last candle 164, then 126, popped all the stops. I don't know. Now we're holding on this last ice level here, at least short term. 41, what is that? 49,109 and a quarter or something. Kind of interesting. It's made me, because I played in here and I covered into this area. That's it. A little bit. I got a few down here, and on the cover, and that's it. So I made my points. Probably average from here to about settlement, right? With stops up here. So again, right, we were doing our whole, right? Well, entry here, and then let's see, shift. Yeah, there we go. Exit about here. So just better than 1R, right? A little, maybe 1.25 Rs. In hindsight, you're like, man, couldn't you have just shorted into this node? Stop right above the highs. You don't know where it's going to go on the break of this candle. You just don't know. Yeah, just don't know. So, you put a 4 or 5 point stop in and play it. But hindsight is 2020. Should have bought here, sold here, rebought settlement, averaged down, and then sold on the stops above the iceberg break. Come on now. That's not how trading works. Wouldn't it be great if we had some sort of time machine? I was thinking about this the other day. What if we could trade with hindsight? Me and my kid like to watch The Flash, and he's all about running back in time and changing timelines. So it's an interesting thought experiment, right? If you got into the market, right? You're like, one contract every level here. Ding, 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 ding. Would your big lot order, right? If you thought you knew the future, would it affect the future? The answer to that question is if you got in on Globex and bought down here in mass, they'd probably go run your stops because you're not supposed to be there. You're not part of their little group. They probably go run your stops underneath this low. You're like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you that's how trading works. You're when you're not supposed to be there in low volume environments, the club, they know where to go hunt your stops. And for them, trying to hunt your stops if you're too big in Globex, it's pretty easy unless there's some other player, OTF, right, that you've identified. Once in a great while, we can identify these OTFs by their buying. And it's usually not an iceberg, by the way. Those are the super obvious ones that everybody sees. You're like, well, I don't see it. Well, if you don't see it, you're new to trading. But every other informed trader out there sees the icebergs. We all see them clear as day. But the OTFs will turn on algorithms and they'll start, letting price fall, and then they'll just buy it up, and then they'll turn off. Price will come back, and then they'll buy it up again, right? And then they'll turn off, and then they'll buy it up again, and they'll just do that, right? And you see it with the Bitcoin, right? Where we had the Bart Simpson patterns like this, right? The Bart Simpson goes like this. Those are accumulation or distribution algos, right? So OTFs just getting in there and wrecking everybody, letting prices fall, letting it move through stops, maybe even removing some liquidity, right? There's lots of market makers in Bitcoin, big market makers. Anyway, let's see. Got 12 people. What up? Super Trader only reverse trades. Oh, Chirped Home says answered. Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at the chat. Sorry. Anyway, gauging interest. Only 12 people. Like I said, I'm going to go put some ribeyes on the Barbie here shortly. My wife's got the little one. Whole family is sick. Whole family. It's just blows. You know how that is. What are you gonna say about Globex, right? Globex is just can be the pits to trade. What are we in? We're in here. Here. Let's we can change it to the NQ here. Look. NQ charts now. Right? We got our book map. So for you guys that are watching the stream, I've made these a little bit easier to figure out. So the market depth historical graph, anything above 50 will be red. Anything above 100 will be purple. Okay? And then on the I'll go back to the E-mini real quick. On the E-mini up here, anything above 150 is red. Anything above 400 is purple on the market depth historical graph. Corey W, what's up, dude? Yeah, family sick. I don't know. It wasn't one of those struggles last weekends. I got to talk to my wife here today for about 30 minutes as baby woke up, and just hanging out, talking to love of my life, and God, it made me so happy. And I told her that. I was like, talking to you makes me happy. But kids sick. My wife is getting sick. Baby was sick. She seems to be getting over things. So I'm in California, and it's I guess almost 5 o'clock, right? I guess you guys can see that 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's hot. It's windy, but the sunshine was nice on my face. Although the 4-month-old was like, I don't know, trying to bury herself into my chest as we were walking. I took him for a walk around the neighborhood. Said hello to everybody. There was kids out. That was nice. But gosh, everyone being sick. Some of it's just air quality out here. I live in the Central Valley, California. It's just terrible. Terrible, terrible. So, anywho, We're on the E-mini. No live trading here. No live trading for me. I know it says live trading up there somewhere on the top left, maybe what up here, but no live trading for me. I'm just gonna be hanging out up there. So I can't actually get to that screen. Anyway, how was your guys' weekend? How was your weekend, Corey? Was it a good weekend? I hope so. NASDAQ selling through some bidders here at 42. Mm-hmm. Oh, yay. That's great. Oh, Maine. Chirp tone. I've got to talk to you more. That is one of the states we're interested in moving to because of, clean air, close to the coast, East Coast, good for trader. Trader New says, do you have any videos about absorption? Because I have troubles learning it. It's not very hard. Um, so here, let's, which one are we on here? All right, let's, all right, let's do this. Let's go trade. Wait, oh yeah, market data columns are on. What the heck am I doing? Yeah, they are on already. It's gonna be like, here, let me turn these on for you. Okay, so you have the price ladder, right? This buy side, trader new, it's all bid sides, right? These are all limit orders resting on the order book, right? Showing their intent to potentially fill. If I go in, first off, hold on, let me go switch this to a sim, and I'll just show you. I'll demonstrate it, and we're on sim. Okay. All right. Let's go trade. We'll turn this on. Okay. And we'll turn this on here too. Okay. So if I put a whole bunch, oops, trading locked. Okay, well that doesn't help. All right. If I add a whole bunch of liquidity on the ask side, right, like this, and then someone is buying into that level, I'm absorbing, right? If I'm putting a whole bunch of orders, I'm in sim, but I'm not. If I was putting a whole bunch of orders on the bid and they're selling into it, I'm absorbing, right? It's that simple. That's literally the concept, trade new, right? So if I start buying this level and someone's passively refilling the level, right, with limit orders, and I'm taking aggression and buying across the spread is the best bid and the best ask. So I'm crossing that to hit the ask. I'm showing aggression, right? Look, these people are all showing aggression, right? And look, the time in sales shows that there were buys. So they're being aggressive. They're buying high, right? They're buying the ask. Someone's absorbing on the ask ever so slightly, but it's low quantity. But right here, you see how this is 378 of 378? It means that someone passively refilled the ask side. And so they were absorbing a lot of contracts right there. So that's really all it is, trade new. You now have learned about absorption. Booyah. It's really that simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it beyond that, right? I'm either getting long, meaning I'm taking a long position by buying, hoping that price will keep going higher in my favor, and then I can sell out and profit the difference. So I'm getting long like that. So I'm +1. I'm now but I hit the ask there, right? So I hit the ask again. Now I'm long 2. But I could also go and buy on the limit side. And then someone else would have to be aggressive and fill my bid, right? Fill my limit order just sitting there, right? It's probably going to fill it right now. Okay. Now I'm absorbing. Look, I'm adding liquidity to the bid side. Not real liquidity. This is a simp, right? So I'm absorbing. See that? Now, if I want to get out of my position, I can wait till price moves all the way up here and then hit the bid, or I can add liquidity to the ask side by doing like this, right? And then that would be visible liquidity, right? So that's one way, but I would be adding liquidity to the ask side. And then if I had let's say a really, really big position here, right? Let's say I don't know, let's say I just got long some ridiculous amount of contracts, right? I don't know, I'm not getting long some ridiculous amount of contracts yet. But let's say I did, right? Let's say, okay, I'm long, let's say I'm in a simp, but let's say I'm long 32 contracts and I want to get out and have an algorithm that, if I drop below, say, 2 or 3 points of profit, it starts to get me out of the position. But then maybe also my algorithm, when I go 3 or 4 points into profit, it starts to add 1 to the ask if the ask is below 10. That way it doesn't interrupt the direction of price, right? And so it slowly just starts to, as price moves up into that level, slowly starts to add liquidity or orders. And then maybe at past 3 points, it starts to sell into the bid like this, right? See how my position's getting lower, right? 25, 24, right? It's in profit. Oh, I'm still selling it, selling it, selling it. Now I'm 14 long, 12 long, right? Here, let's make sure I'm turning brackets off because that's ridiculous. Let's cancel all orders. All right, now make it easier. All right, I'm selling, I'm adding liquidity, I'm absorbing. Now I'm going to show aggressive and get out of this position. 2, 1. Oh no, it's falling below. Now I'm 2 long. 1 long, positive. Okay, now I'm flat. All right, I'm no longer in a position. So there you go, trade new. Sweet, trade new. I appreciate your compliment. I'm glad it really is that simple, right? Anyone who's trying to make it more simple, like let's say you come from, I don't know, the stock world of, here, let me turn something on so I can draw on this screen. We'll say the bid side is blue, right? And there's all these bids lined up here. And then the ask side is red. So like if you're on like Thinkorswim or like a lot of these stock trading platforms, when you're looking at like liquidity, they don't have this ladder style where the bid is on, this side and the ask is on this side. And you have to think of liquidity as crossing this spread, right? You think of it as this is the bid side, right? And this is the ask side. And then people sell into it, and then they buy into the ask, right? So on a time and sales in futures, every time someone goes and lifts or hits one of these ask side or sell side orders, that's a buy in time and sales. So let's say I go and I buy 1 over here. I buy 1 from this level. On the time and sales that's going down the screen, I'll show up as, quantity 1 at whatever price right here. Okay? And so that's called, in Sierra Chart and a lot of other places, that is called ask volume. So ask volume is volume where a buyer takes initiative and buys into the ask side. So ask volume is volume that transacts hitting the ask. Bid volume, see this red line, it's a little inverted from how a lot of people think of it, but it is what it is. Bid volume, very simply, is when an aggressor goes and sells into an existing resting order on the bid. So that becomes bid volume. So when you're talking about delta, right, at a specific level, let's say this yellow is representing like net delta. Net delta, which is this column here on my footprint, net delta is represented by ask volume minus bid volume. So there's a few steps you have to memorize. What is bid volume? It's volume that hits the bid. What is ask volume? Volume that hits the ask. Okay, so if prices move above, oh, sorry, we'll make this yellow, above this tick, right? And you're over, let's forget this traditional stock. Let's look at this over here, right? So if the ask is over here and the bid is now up here on this tick level, and they're selling into the bid, right? Then what is that? It's bid volume, right? So it's hitting the bid. Is that initiative into the bid? Is that aggression into the bid? Yeah, it's aggression into the bid. Conversely, if we're still transacting at this level, but the bid is now, say, the maximum bid is here and the maximum ask is down here, right? So the spread is like this, right? With the ask being here, but we're still transacting on this level, right? And then the buyers start hitting the ask. That's now ask volume. So delta is defined as ask volume minus bid volume. So if you have more ask volume than bid volume, because delta is defined as ask volume minus the bid volume. So if you have more ask volume at a tick than bid volume, then what do you have more of? You have more aggressive buyers at that level than you do sellers. So you have positive delta because ask is bigger than bid. So your net delta column will show up as positive. All right, so when you see this, the background is blue, right? And there's no negative number in front of it. That means that there's 72 positive delta. Well, you can barely see it. You probably can't see it on the feed. This background here is also 72 volume. So of all the volume that we're going to make this blue just to go with the ask volume theme. Of all the volume, 72 of 72 here, it was all ask volume, right? So 72 was positive delta and the total volume was 72. So what does that mean? Someone's refilling the ask and people are buying into that level, 72 contracts worth. And price never goes beyond that level. That's an iceberg, right? It's a contract or order type that maybe someone wants to fill 500 contracts. It won't reveal all 500 limit order ask contracts. It might have a reveal of, say, one contract at a time, but it's part of a single order that the CME supports that allows large players to sell at a level like this passively and get the ask refilled, and then the contracts just get refilled. You can buy into it. You can never go beyond it until the full iceberg is filled. The CME supports that order type, right? And so when one contract shows up, let's say we're looking at a DOM here, right? And there's like 10 contracts here and 5 here, and there's 1 here, and right above it we see, let's see, 11 and 7, and the buyers are just, they're hitting this level, boom, boom, and it just keeps showing up. Like the one gets lifted, right? And then another one shows up, and then they hit more, and another shows up, another shows up, another shows up. All you ever see is one, because every time they buy one and fill that one, another only one contract is revealed. So that's an iceberg with the quantity one reveal state. And they fill it, fill it, fill it until they get to like 72 contracts, which would be in this area here, right? And it went back up, it was 4 of 4, then 7 of 7, then went back up again, right? It was 21 of 21, then 18 of 18, right? So me, with my little delta footprint here, I make where the delta is a 95% of the total volume, I make it highlight teal so that I know it's some sort of high absorption, right? It could, a lot of these, because stops get hit and then the stops fill all the way to the ends, mostly you get 100% up deltas right at the end of most wicks. That's very, very common, right? So this just tells me like a low contract value, short term, the auction completed, meaning, maybe there was some stops or some stragglers here before the large players decided we're not buying anymore. We want to buy pullbacks now. And we want to trap these dummies up here. We want to take some profit and maybe rebuy the market, right? To keep going upside or something, right? They're big institutional professional players are a little more sophisticated. They don't just keep buying new highs. They wait for markets to pull back and then for people to position short, and then they buy against them so that all the short players stop out. And into those stops and into the new highs and the FOMO, they typically sell. That's the way smart players do it, right? All the retail people are taught, hey, new highs, buy, right? So they know that, so they play that way. But anyway, I think it's time for the Bobby, and let's see. Anyway, so you got a tiny little education there, and if you appreciate it, just like the video, my friend. I'm off to boil eggs. Anyway, so I'm out. Have a really good night, and I hope you guys all crush it tomorrow. My plan is to trade my setups and nothing more. Don't push it, don't force it, and hopefully it's a good day. Usually, because I have edge, if I do that, it's a good day. If I force things, then typically I have bad days. And markets can always surprise us, give us bad days, even though we have edge in the market, and they just change behavior and you're trading the wrong strategy for the day. That happens too, and that's okay. But by and large, if you have a good plan, you have edge, you've learned how to trade, you've done it successfully over a long period of time, then your job as an operator in the market is to trade your mother effing plan. Anyway, have a good night. Take it easy.